What's up, guys? Sports Estimators back again. We got another Liga MX video for you guys. It's a special video because, as I'm sure you all know, my boy Chino, Cruz Azul fan,
I'm nervous.
team's in the final. We'll be giving you guys a breakdown of the final, predictions, of course, how we think the games are going to play out. But let's go ahead and get started with a little bit of a historical context between the matchups of these two teams. So let me hand it over to my boy Chino.
Yes, sir. Let's go. First and foremost, this is the first time one of our teams have reached the finals while we're recording. So that's a first. You would think it'd be America, but no, sir. It's Papa Cruz Azul. I'm nervous as All right, so first off.
Hey, you couldn't. You were having trouble sleeping last night?
Bro, I swear to God, I could not sleep last night. And on my way to record, bro, I was playing like hyper music, like to pretend that I was on the bus, like on my way to the stadium. Like I was locked in.
What'd you play?
Shit, I was playing like some ghetto shit to like just be ready to defend my ass off.
I'm dead.
I was playing some hit 'em up.
Going that far back?
I'm
dead. I'm dead. Okay.
Bro, I was so nervous, bro. Last night I was like, bro, why can't I sleep? I had butterflies in my stomach.
For context, we're an hour removed from kickoff for the first
my God.
game. But let's. You got some good stats for us between these two teams. So I'm interested to hear.
All right, so Cruz Azul versus Pumas. I'm going to give you guys a historical background in finales. So, this is the third time that they face off against each other in finals. The first time, they faced each other in the 78-79 season. Cruz Azul won that first matchup. The second time that they played each other, Pumas won the second matchup in the 80-81 matchup, which Hugo Sanchez was probably there. I'm not sure. But let's see who takes the third matchup. Now, between head coaches Efrain Juarez and Huiqui, this is the first time two Mexican head coaches face off since the Clausura 2013, which was the infamous final of Cruz Azul versus America, where it was Piojo and Memo Vázquez.
Who won that one?
Oh my goodness!
Bro, I lucky forgot.
No.
What happened?
No. Bro, and oh my God, this is what makes my stomach turn, bro, because I'm remembering all the finals we've lost, like, bro, and it all goes back to like being in May when it's hot, like that final that we lost. Then we go on.
That was the most painful one, though, right? The America one, because it was so close.
So I date back to either it being that one or my first one.
Where they broke Villaluz?
No, it was Santos.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
Yep. So I've kept a mental note in my head all these years growing up, and I don't know if I should break it down, but I'll break it down at the end. But
okay.
But yeah, this is I don't know if that one is the most painful one or the first one of when I watched them lose. But going back to it, so the head coaches were Piojo and Memo Vázquez. And the last time a Mexican head coach won the Liga MX was Nacho Ambriz with León in 2020. It's crazy that in your own country, you have foreigners come into your country, run the teams, Argentinians, and they have the most success in your league. But this is a good opportunity to shine light where it's due with Mexican head coaches. One thing that I do want to note is Efrain Juarez's coaching career is by far an exceptional career that he's had. So let me give you guys some points of his coaching career. So Efrain Juarez would serve as a technical assistant to Ronnie Delia in his stints at New York City FC with the MLS from 2020 through 2022, where they ultimately were able to win the MLS Cup in 2021. Efrain Juarez was served to him as a technical assistant. And then Efrain Juarez will go to follow him where he coached Standard League from the Belgian League from 2022 to 2023. And after that, Ronnie Diala was dismissed and signed to Club Bruges, where Efrain would continue to work as his technical assistant till 2024. From there, Efrain Juarez would go on to coach Atlético Nacional, where he won the Copa Colombiana. And in the semifinal, he celebrated and made some gestures, I guess you could say, where it banned him from attending any Colombian stadium for 3 years. And the infamous Tenemos Huevos celebration is, I think, the same celebration he did after he tied Cruz Azul. I think is somewhat what happened. So from there on, at the beginning of 2025, he was appointed head coach of Pumas. Now, I'm going to give you guys a note of Joel Huiqui's career, which you guys would say, how is Joel Huiqui 5 games in and was able to lead Cruz Azul to a championship? Well, here's why. Joel Huiqui started his coaching career coaching Cruz Azul's youth academy in 2023. Well, actually, not 2023, but it was a little bit earlier. But in 2023, he became an assistant to Joaquin Moreno. After that season, he would return to coach the U23 team. From there, it was from 2024 to 2025. He would later come back to return as assistant head coach under Vicente Sanchez, where they would go on to win the CONCACAF championship. Then he would go back to coach the U21 squad. Until the firing of Larcagon. But Joel Huiqui knows this squad in and out. He has been there before the regime of Ivan Alonso. So he knows a lot of the players on this squad. So, which was easily an easy way for him to maneuver into the squad and for him to coach this team and help them ultimately reach the final. So, that is their coaching careers to this day, where now they meet off face to face and only one of them could be crowned champions. Now, who would it be? Continue to watch our breakdown and we'll give you guys.
They're similar, but I feel like they're kind of at the same time on opposite sides of the spectrum because how you pointed out, Huiqui was kind of thrown into the fire. Like he hasn't even coached a full season. He took over at the end of the season. Whereas Juarez, like how you said, he's established himself as a good coach.
Yeah.
You know, he's gone abroad. He's won championships internationally. And that kind of speaks to like his mentality because, you know, as a player, he went to, was it Scotland? Scotland. And you know, like how his celebrations indicate, he does have huevos.
Those huevos, bro.
And you have to be kind of like, you have to have some confidence to kind of bet on yourself and take those risks. And credit to him.
I'm not going to lie. If we remember who Efrain Juarez is, he was part of that 2000 or the U17 squad that ended up winning that FIFA Cup or what do you call it? The fucking
Youth World Cup.
That Youth World Cup. And that's what scares me. Because now for New York City FC, if you guys know, that's under the Manchester City umbrella. And there's a interview with Sports Illustrated where basically he had to become a scout for them. He would have to go and scout. And he had to scout Holland for him to ultimately get that pass to see if Manchester City would go to
buy him?
To buy them ultimately. So he would have to go scout, and he reached out to his coach and he said, hey, if there's an opportunity for me to come coach your team, come and get me. And if you guys don't know, he retired at the age of 31, basically almost at tail end of his prime career. And he went on, coached, and now he's like a philosophical coach. The way he speaks, the way he coaches, and that's what scares me facing off with him. Because
he's like the Mexican Mourinho.
Yeah, bro.
Outspoken. A little bit I think they're both kind of pragmatic. To your point, I do like how Efrain, you can kind of see with the way Pumas plays, he does have a good understanding of how the modern game is played.
Yeah.
With, having three in the back. At times, it's kind of like a 3-4-3 shape when they're on the ball. And you can tell that this guy has kind of like a bunch of different influences in his game, like from as a player, but also how you talked about how he's coached elsewhere. And so I think he's definitely, in terms of like projections, he's definitely kind of one of the candidates to one day be Mexico's coach. And I think obviously we have to see how this World Cup goes, because Rafa Marquez is there, and that's El Kaiser, but he has to be one of the top candidates for sure, projection wise.
Let me break your heart. I'm gonna send you the link to that Sports Illustrated interview. He drops hella gems, but one of his gems that he dropped is that he will never become Mexico's head coach, just because there's too much political drama. The press in Mexico is by far one of the worst presses in in the world, and he's very vocal about how the arbitros in Mexico are by far one of the most, in any of the leagues that he's ever played in or coached in, by far one of the most like chaotic and just all around a mess of a commission to deal with. So,
but how much of that is him being 3 steps ahead and him intentionally being like, I wouldn't do it? For them to be like, oh, like, come on, do it. And then he'd be like, after some consideration,
I think if you watch the interview, he's pretty stern on what he says.
Okay.
And to be honest, win or lose this final, I know he's going to go to Europe after this.
I would like to see that.
He's even mentioned it in that interview where he says, you know what? I already have calls from Europe, and my dream is to coach in Europe. Because he kind of wants to become what Vasco is.
Who he played under.
And
I see a lot of Vasco in him. That kind of like meter huevos, like
that mythology,
being like kind of like a morale guy, like motivating players. I definitely see that. I think Efrain is actually more of a strategist than El Vasco is, though.
He is.
Which
even
I
the
like.
Way he plays.
I like.
But I feel like a lot of the way he's played this Liga was to his benefit, was him knowing he has a higher seed, so him being able to take a loss when he needed to.
Yeah. Which shows kind of his intelligence.
Yeah.
To some extent.
Which is why I'm scared to play him. As an outsider looking in, I know we hadn't recorded in a while, but if you guys go back to a few of our TikToks and a few of our breakdowns, we've broken down a lot of Pumas players.
Yeah.
And this squad had so much talent, bro.
Yeah.
So much talent.
I think if you remember, last season, we said that Pumas was a dark horse for the title.
Yeah. We were a little bit early on it, but...
that reminds me, it's what does the saying go? It's like, I'm never wrong, I'm just early.
Bro, we were super early on that.
Because I think last season, I don't remember who you had, but last season I said that at the beginning of the season, I would have said Cruz Azul is my favorite for the title. And then we said Pumas was a dark horse.
Yeah.
So, we weren't wrong. We were just early.
We were definitely early, and Pumas was one of the teams that I don't know if you could say scouted in a way, but was one of the teams that excited me the most in their game style.
It's because ever since Efrain Juarez got there, and again, that's a testament to how good of a coach he is, they've always created chances.
Yep.
In the past, what kind of held them back was le faltaba contundencia, and now they've been able to be more lethal in front of goal, and I think that has a lot to do with Juninho, who's been scoring a lot for them. But with this playoff run, we have to talk about Jordan Carrillo. He's been kind of, I don't want to say a revelation.
He's been that difference maker.
He's been a difference maker. And I think he's kind of going to be the X factor for them in this matchup.
For sure.
But speaking of matchup, let's dive a little bit deeper into it and kind of break down these two teams, where they're at now. And I'm just going to say it. I have Cruz Azul winning.
Oh, my goodness. Don't say that.
I think they're going to pull it off. Not just because I think it'll kind of like back my point up last season where I thought like they've been. I feel like Cruz Azul has been due for a title for a couple years now. Going back to the Larcamón, or no, not Larcamón, Anselmi era, I thought that team would have won one, and it's basically kind of been like a continuation of his philosophy and that core group of players. So I think they're hungry. I think they've been battle tested, and I was critical of them getting rid of Larcamón because they were still on paper performing. I know they hit that tough stretch, but they finished as what, the third seed?
The third seed.
And I thought it was insane that they fired Larcamón at that point of the season. But in hindsight, you can't really criticize that move because they're in the final right now.
Yeah.
And for that reason, I think with Huiqui, I do see them playing slightly different with him. I think we've talked about it before off screen. But how you said that he likes to use Rotondi as like a winger, which I think is a little bit gross when you have like more defensive players playing higher up. Usually they like to see more offensive players converting down. But I think part of that, like, especially against the Chivas series, maybe it was to tapar la salida de Ledesma on that right side. So I'm going to be interested to see how these teams line up. I think right now, I think the lineups are probably out by now.
So breaking news, Cruz Azul is going to maintain their 11, Carrasquilla to the bench for Pumas.
Ooh.
Bro, what the fuck is Efrain doing, bro?
Carrasquilla is like Arturo Vidal in the Mexican League.
You know what? I think
he hasn't been playing as well.
Efrain, though, knows that. So let me take you guys back. Last season, Efrain ended up breaking Kevin Mier's leg. And I think he knows that all the Cruz Azul players are going to go after him, foul bait him, have him lose his head, and potentially end up getting a card and end up getting a red card. But this is breaking news from Adrián Esparza La Joya, who basically covers the Cruz Azul team for TUDN. But here you guys have it. The little tweet, so you can see.
Yeah. I'm looking at the lineups. They still haven't announced it, and we're 45 minutes away from kickoff.
Yeah, but it says Cruz Azul mantiene su 11. Pumas manda Carrasquilla a la banca para poner a Triagos.
So they're keeping Jeremy Marquez at right back.
Yep, but I saw a breakdown of why it kind of worked out for Cruz Azul, because it kind of ends up having a deep press for Cruz Azul to press. Well, for Chivas, it would have been their back five to not allow them to play deep on them. So, but let me take you guys a little bit back head-to-head wise. Since 1996, Cruz Azul has beat Pumas 32 times. They've tied 24 times and have lost to Pumas 17 times.
That's low-key dominating.
That's low-key dominant. And the main factor in this is Cruz Azul has 26 games played in CU as quote-unquote the home team. And in those games, they have won 19 games, tied 7 times, and have not lost in CU. That's nuts. Cruz Azul have also crowned themselves as the CONCACAF champions in 2025. Pumas, I don't know if you guys were seeing the press conferences yesterday. A lot of the Pumas players were talking shit about us, saying that we don't have a stadium. One thing that I do want to note, though, is in this Liguilla, is that Cruz Azul has had a lot of favorable calls towards us. 2 no handballs marked not against us.
Props to you for acknowledging that.
And then now I know how you feel.
What do you mean?
Like when the calls for America go their way and not against them.
No, you know what I'm
talking about.
Well, me personally, you gotta admit, as far as America fans, I'm pretty.
Oh yeah,
objective.
you're pretty objective. Yeah. But like, there's other American fans. Like, no. But calls do go your guys' way.
I would say in the past,
past.
yes. Like, but we're talking about like when I wasn't even fucking born and shit.
You're such a liar.
Like from what I've seen,
You
bro.
better make me eat the mic.
From what I've seen, like I feel like there's been times where like okay, maybe I will say maybe sometimes they get the benefit of the doubt, but I wouldn't say it's like they rob teams.
Okay, the Rotondi final.
That's what I'm saying. That was a questionable call. That wasn't like a straight up like, bro, what the heck is this? Like a Santander with Chivas, bro. That was a straight up PK.
That was a straight up PK, yeah.
Like I feel like America doesn't get those calls. I feel like I said, they get the benefit of the doubt. Where it's like, you could argue for it, but
right now though, this is not because it usually goes the opposite way for us. Would you agree? We always get the bad end of the stick in Liguillas.
Where I feel like it's more like you guys bring it upon yourself. Mistakes, not necessarily.
No, you're right.
Not necessarily. You guys get fucked over by the refs.
And who makes those mistakes? Piovi. Please put
Rotondi.
Put a dog collar on Kevin Mier, Rotondi, and Kevin Mier. Or I said Rotondi, Piovi, and Kevin Mier. As soon as they're defending somebody, shock the fuck out of them so they don't foul and fucking duct tape their hands to their waist, bro. Because Jesus Christ, if those three have a clean 180 minutes, we win this series.
You're confident that you guys win if they...
I'm not confident, but if they don't fuck up, we win. But one thing I do want to know, this final is being called in Ciudad de Mexico La Final de la Obsesión because Pumas fans have talked so much shit. They haven't been crowned in 15 years. We haven't been crowned in 5 years. There's people criticizing Pumas fans because son habladores, their tactics. But one thing I do want to say, like how you said, we should have been crowned when we had Anselmi, and I feel like this is the same way that people were viewing Efrain and his Puma squad. The way they have worked to get to this final, they should be crowned champs. And I do think that Efrain Juarez, as his trajectory as a head coach and all his coaching career, he does have the edge over Huiqui Dios due to his overall experience. But, however, the way the Cruz Azul front office, Ivan Alonso, and Victor Velasquez have managed this team.
D1 glazing, but go ahead.
Is for anybody to come in and be able to coach this team.
Yeah.
Vicente Sanchez came from the U23 team, crowned them champs, made it to the semifinal. Huiqui Dios came in a game before the Liguilla, has made it all the way to the final. He's changed things. He's turned the vibe around in the locker room.
They deserve a lot of credit for that because, like I said, I was critical of them, but you have to say it's worked so far. Yeah, and I think that's the way they're going to keep doing things. Is they're going to have a philosophy and a way for this team to play tactically. I like that, and they're gonna stick to it. But I think our left flank and our defense is ultimately what's going to be able to win us this game. If we're able to stay composed and not let outside shit get to us. And minimize our mistakes, I think we can ultimately be crown champs. But Pumas, this is the toughest matchup. But one thing that I am glad about is that it's not America. Also, I don't know how to feel about this final because I always kind of keep a tab on who we lost finals against. We got our lick back against Santos. We need to get our lick back against Toluca, Monterrey, and America. So this new final that like I'm witnessing, but that's kind of a rival too, no? Like a Clásico, because they're from the same city, kind of. But it's like how I said, it's like become the title El Clásico de la Obsesión. I was like, who's more obsessed with the teams? Because Cruz Azul's the third biggest club and Pumas is the fourth biggest club. So it's just kind of like who's next up. Yeah. And I don't know, this
I don't know, man. This final just has me feeling a lot of different emotions.
I feel like it's gonna be a very competitive finals.
Yeah.
I want to see, like, I keep checking to see if they've uploaded the lineups because I'm really curious to see how teams line up. The whole Carrasquilla thing to the bench is super surprising for me.
Yeah.
Because he kind of reminds me of like a poor man's Arturo Vidal in terms of like the characteristics of his game. But I think the key for Cruz Azul is to manage the midfield, and I'd be interested to see how they come out. But I think if they overload the midfield, either with like a 5-4-1 or like just a diamond in the midfield, I feel like that's gonna be like a good formula for them to beat Pumas.
Yeah.
Because Pumas' midfield, well, you said Carrasquilla's out, but Carrillo's an X factor. Vite, I think, is a good piece for them. But that's kind of the strength of Cruz Azul, is that they have a bunch of players in that midfield that they can like plug and play.
Yeah.
And I think that that's what they need to focus on, especially since in the past we've seen them with 5 in the back, and we've seen Chiquete come back from injury. But do they start him? Do they put Amaury Garcia, who's stepped up for them?
Yeah.
I want to see what the matchups look like. But I think as of right now, I'm still leaning Cruz Azul because we've talked about it's kind of like that same core group of players. I will say I think Lira would have been a huge piece for them in this particular series. But Pumas has struggled against Cruz Azul. The last 5 matchups, they've only won once. And that in that game, Cruz Azul played with 10 men like the last 30 minutes or so. And Pumas eventually came back. Cruz Azul is the better away team. They beat Chivas and Atlas away from home in this Liguilla. And we've seen Pumas look like a different team away from home in the Liguilla. And their only real impressive win in the regular season away from home was against Tigres. But that was at the very beginning of the season. Yeah, I just think Cruz Azul has more continuity. And with Pumas, bro, I'm going to talk a little bit about the America series.
Yeah.
Because low-key, over the course of those 180 minutes, America outplayed Pumas for the majority of that series.
Yeah. And you can say Pachuca did the same thing.
Yeah. So I think Pumas, how you said, they've been kind of taking advantage of being the higher matchup. And another thing is they don't really have an advantage because for the final. Because, yeah, they get to close out in Seul, but there's no away goal rule, you know? And like we said, they're not a good away team. So with the home games being split up, it's like that's another thing in Cruz Azul's favor, in my opinion.
Yeah, bro. And I just think our bench is a little bit deeper than
for sure. Yeah.
what Pumas is. So if it goes past 180 minutes overall in the series,
yeah,
I think overall Cruz Azul will have the edge. But like I said, as long as those 3 idiots don't make a mistake, we should be clear to win. But also, I think something to note is that within this whole Liguilla, Cruz Azul hasn't really been playing with their core forwards. We've had Efrain be up there, kind of becoming a disturbance for the defense.
But I've actually liked what he's brought to the team.
Yeah, I do too. It's brought like a different flavor, and
And Toro Fernandez is back. Do they play those 2 guys up top, you think?
No, it's gonna be like I said. It's gonna be Cruz Azul is gonna start off with the same 11, which is right here. God damn, estoy miando.
Oh yeah, you're right.
But Toro Fernandez coming off the bench is definitely gonna give us a different spark. And Nicolas Ibanez maybe will be back for the Vuelta, but that's a good one to have with Toro Fernandez up top. So yeah, we'll see what happens. And ultimately, oh my God, do I see Cruz Azul winning it? 100%, corazón sí, but I'm never too confident.
Do you feel comfortable giving a prediction, like score-wise or
score-wise? We win by 1 more goal this game. Next game we tie.
Bro.
Next game we tie 2-2. This game 0-1.
I have Cruz Azul 3-2 Global. I agree. I think either Cruz Azul wins 2-1 or 2-0 this game, and then they either tie or lose by one in to close it out. But yeah, bro. Pumas, they just sit in a low block and they give that other team the initiative, and it just allows them to create hella chances. And I think it's a recipe for disaster.
And something we've noticed too is they make hella mistakes, bro, in the back.
Yeah.
So we'll be able to capitalize on
Gaylord has been shaky too. Against America, there was a couple goals where it was kind of like
his fault.
Yeah.
Well, I think should I wrap it up?
I'm down.
Oh my God, we'll see.
So my boy can watch the game 30 minutes away from kickoff.
I said we'll see if we record on Monday when Cruz Azul is crowned champs. I'm nervous. I don't know. Cut that part out.
Look, you jinxed them.
Nah, at least I didn't touch the trophy like.
Because you know what?
Like Silva.
La maldición del chacal. You had posted. Let me just post this now. Cruz Azul eliminado. And they made it to the final. So you low-key like reverse jinxed them.
I reverse jinxed them. Huh? Nah, I'm just kidding. Nah, I don't know. We'll see what happens on Monday. But fuck, bro. I don't know if I've been this... Nah, because even for the Cruz Azul and America final that they played in 2024, I was super confident that we were going to win that one.
Really?
But this one, I'm not confident. I'm not.
Really?
I'm not confident. Because of Efrain's... Just because of Efrain's trajectory, bro. But like I said, that right side for Pumas, bro, Antuna and Lopez covering that side, and now you don't have Carrasquilla playing, bro. We just have to win. We have to win this leg.
Antuna starting. Lineups announced.
Antuna handball in the 18. I'm calling it now. Un cagadero de
Trigos is starting. That's interesting.
Charlie Rodriguez. Thank you, Mexico, for not calling him up. Are you ready to wrap it up?
Sir.
All right, guys, there you have it. This is our Liga MX Clausura 2023 final predictions. So, do you have it written clear? Cruz Azul is going to be crowned champs?
That's my prediction. Yes.
There you guys go. Sports Estimators curse. We'll see if it's true or not.
Also, starting next week, promise, World Cup coverage. We're going to start breaking it down.
Yes,
so keep an eye out for that. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Don't quote us.
Peace. But yeah, make sure you guys tune in next week. We'll be dropping our first video on the group A through F.
Yeah. First 5 groups and then the second 5.
Yes, sir. And then we'll break it down with our ultimate bracket. But there you guys have it. Peace.